Hello and welcome to the 11th session of Java video series. In this session we will understand about local variables in Java. But before really proceeding with this session, I strongly recommend all the viewers to watch part 9 and 10 of this video series, in which I have explained static and instance variables. So let's begin with the topic here. Right. So what are local variables? Local variables are the variables which are stored in method, area or constructor or blocks, right? So they are declared inside method, block or constructor, and such type of variables are called local variables. Simply, if we declare variables inside method, block or constructor, they are local variables, right? And they are temporary variables. They meet temporary requirements of the program, so that's why they are also called as temporary variables or stack variables or automatic variables. Local variables will be stored inside stack memory. So because they are stored inside stack memory, I think that's why they are called stack variables, but I'm not sure. That may be a reason that they are called stack variables, because the storage area is stack memory inside JVM. So this point being said, local variables will be created while executing the block in which we declared it. So consider we have a method and we declare a variable of type int. Then when we execute this method, or when we call this method, only then the variable of type int will also be created. And as soon as we complete the execution of the method, the variable which we declared inside the method will also be gone with the completion of the method, right? And say if we again call the method, then the variable will also be again initialized or created, and with the passage of the completion of the method, the variable will also go with the method. So local variables will be created while executing the block in which we declared it. Once block execution completes, automatically local variables will be destroyed. Hence the scope of local variable is the block in which we declare it, right? So the scope is limited to the block or to the constructor or to the method in which the local variable lives, right? Next, there are some points that we must remember about local variables. The first is, for local variables, JVM won't provide default values. We know that for static variables, for instance variables, JVM provides default values. And what are default values related to different types of variables? We have discussed those values in our previous video sessions. So I hope you have watched those sessions. So it means if I declare a variable of type int, say, and I do not initialize it, then JVM is not going to provide the value 0, because it's an int. It is us, or it is our duty to provide the value to that particular variable. Of course the variable is local variable in this case. So we must perform initialization explicitly before using that variable. And this point extends by saying that if we are not using, then it is not required to perform initialization, right? If you do not use it, you are not required to perform initialization of that particular variable. So it's kind of lame to even declare the variable. So if you are declaring, of course you want to use it. That's why you have to initialize it as well. But say if you aren't using it and you have forgotten to initialize the values, then it's okay if you are not using it inside the program, right? We will see an example with program in order to understand this point, right? Next point says, it is not recommended to perform initialization for local variables inside logical blocks. Say if I try to give initialization, or if I try to perform initialization for local variables using logical blocks, say if something is greater than this, then initialize to this, and something is not greater than this, initialize to this. So this is something which is known as logical blocks. We will discuss about these in the later video series, I hope, because there is no guarantee for the execution of these blocks. So it may happen that none of the block is going to happen and the program may skip all the blocks, and the initialization will not be performed. So that's why it's gonna give us an error at a later point of time. So it is highly recommended to perform initialization for local variables at the time of declaration. No sooner you declare it, you should initialize it as well. And it's better if you do not have any values you can think for them, then use the default values. That's a good practice, right? The next point is the only applicable modifier for local variable is final. We can declare final int I equals to 0 inside method, constructors or blocks. But if I try to use other than final, for example, I try to use transient or volatile, these are some other modifiers we will be discussing, then we will get the compile time error, right? The last point about local variables is, if we are not declaring with any modifier, then by default it is default. Understood? It means if there is nothing, it's default. But this rule is applicable only for instance and static variables. So default is applicable for instance and static variables only. But if we try to do it for local variables, we are going to get compile time error. So these points being said, let's quickly run the programs related to this slide. So this program says that I have declared a local variable because main, this is a method and this is inside the method, so this becomes a local variable, right? And this is again inside the for loop or for block, right? For loop or for block. So j is another local variable, right? And what we are doing is we are adding I and j. We are doing some code over there. I'm not interested in the code right now, but in the end I am going to print I and j's value after coming out of for loop. As you can see that I have listed out the error over here. So it says cannot find symbol. Symbol is variable j where in class test. So from the definition of the local variable, we can see that the scope of j is limited to the for loop, right? It's not available outside j as per the definition of local variable. So variable j is not present outside the for loop. That's why this error is going to come. So let me quickly run this program and see if the error comes out. And here, right, where is the error? Yeah, here is this one error. Variable j cannot find symbol, right? This is the error. This over there, right? Cannot find symbol. Okay, so this is the point about declaring the local variables inside method or inside blocks or constructors, right? Next point says that okay, what's that? Next is, right, this one, class test, right? In this program we have int j inside try block, right? And we are trying to access j outside of try block. So that's why we are going to get the same error once again. So if I quickly run this program, my mouse is not working properly, right? And save it, run it quickly, and we will find that the error is once again the same, right? Cannot find symbol. The error comes once again. Let me clear the screen once again so that we can see the error clearly. And cannot find symbol, right? Good. So this was the point about the scope of the local variables. Next is, what in this program are we going to do is, let me copy this program over here. Yeah, in this program it's a method body and we have a local variable over here. X is a local variable, and say I'm not using the local variable over here, so it's not going to flag any kind of error inside the program. It compiles fine and even it runs fine. So hello is the output over here. So if we are not using local variables, it's not required to, if you are not initializing it and we are not using it, then it's okay with the compiler. But say if we try to use the local variable without initializing it, then this is a problem with the compiler. And let me clear the screen once again. And here, well, variable x might not have been initialized is the error, right? So this is other point related to the local variables. In the next program we are going to discuss about the logical block initialization. So in this case, if args.length is greater than 0, then initialize the value to 10, else there is no way we can initialize the local variable x. So if this loop skips, or if this condition skips, then x is not going to be initialized, but I am using x in my program, so it's gonna give me an error. Whether this condition is true or not, it's gonna give me an error, right? So let me check it twice. I haven't tried that yet. Yeah, see, it's not gonna compile, it's gonna give you error, right? So this part being said, let's do one more example related to logical block initialization. In this case, first if, then else. So no matter what, the logical block is surely going to initialize the value. What is happening? What I have done? Okay, this is wrong. This is also wrong. Related. Yeah. Save it. So over here, if args.length is greater than 0, initialize to 10, else initialize to 20. So in any case, the value of x is going to be initialized, and that's why we are going to get no compile time or runtime error in this case. See, it's fine. Let me clear the screen once more, and here Java test, and we got 20 because no arguments are passed with test. That's why the value is 20, right? That's why value is 20, because our arguments are less than 0. But say if I pass the value as a and b, then our value is 10, because we have passed a and b as the arguments. So now the value is more than 0, and that's why the value of x is 10 printed onto the screen, right? So let's move on to the next point. The next point says that, yeah, this is the next point, right? Let me quickly copy and paste this over here. Control A and B, right? Now this is local variable. Now this is an instance variable because it is not inside a method or constructor or block, but inside the class body, right? This is static because modifier static is used, static variable, and it's not inside method, constructor or block, of course. Now this is a method, and we have a local variable over here, and we have a modifier final with it. So it's okay to use final with the local variables. What is the significance of final? We are gonna learn this in later video sessions, right? Let me quickly compile this. I hope I have done the saving thing. No, I haven't saved the program, right? Let me save it. Save the program. Yeah, now it's saved, and it's not gonna give any kind of print statement, so it's okay, no problem. Let me again compile it, and just to make sure that I have indeed saved the program, 20 will not be onto the screen, and program is changed. Let me just get myself satisfied over here. Let me print hello. Sorry, hello, this right. Right, I'm saving it. Now if this prints, it means the program is working correctly with the final modifier as well. So quickly compiling, and yeah, hello, this worked, right? So this is one thing. Now next is I'm using different kinds of modifiers in the program in order to check that something is what is right and what is wrong with the program. Here's the program, just save it, and I have also listed down the errors. Let me quickly clear the screen so that we can have clear clarity. And we have 6 errors over here, right? At each line we have 1 error over here. What I'm going to do, I'm going to comment out line so that error keeps on decreasing in number. right? Now this will become 5, there's 6 over there and 5 over here, right? 5 over here, so 5 now. Now if I comment this one and save, and where's the, yeah, here, 4, right, as you can see on the screen. Now save it. What I'm going to do, I'm going to simply comment out each and every one in order to save the time. You can try it on your own, right? And I'm leaving just one, final int x, so that program compiles fine, and it's fine, right? It's fine, so that's okay. And if I just print out, say, local final, right? Now if I try to recompile the program and run the program, where's the program running command? Yeah, see, local final. So everything is fine with the usage of final modifier, right? So I hope we are done now with the local variables session. In the next session we are going to understand about the differences between static and instance and local variables. So I hope this was a boring session for me as well. So let's okay, it's complete. Bye.